So we're essentially your virtual data analyst. Why? Because data analysis is a long, strenuous, painful process if you're not a data nerd like I am. Most business users have tons and tons of questions that they're just pummeling at either the data team or their IT team. So we saw that problem and thought, hey, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a way that business users can ask their questions and maybe even start to surface up insights. Because in data, a lot of times you don't know what you don't know, but a machine can help you get to those insights at scale. I'm just going to start over here. Oh. We'll just skip that part and we'll go right into the demo. So ultimately, what we found by working with a lot of businesses is that there's this huge bottleneck that exists within organizations where they have questions and they have maybe a data team or they're using various different integrations. They're exporting data, they're putting it into Excel files, and they're trying to manipulate things all over the place. And it's taking a long time to actually get to the place of insight to then take an action. So by placing SimplyInsight in, we're helping small businesses become data aware and large businesses, well, we're helping their data analysts achieve work-life balance. So here, I'm going to start by integrating various different data sources. So as you can see here, we connect to wherever your data lives, whether it's Google Analytics, Shopify data, Mixpanel, your SQL databases. We can even go old school in Excel files because let's face it, business users just love Excel. Your Salesforce data, basically whatever you've got, we live where your data lives. And then you can go to SimplyInsight, a conversation piece, to start asking questions in natural language. So actually here, SimplyInsight's kind of surfacing up some different questions that it's recommending me to ask. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask, I'm running a lot of different campaigns. So for this sake of this demo, let's pretend I'm an e-commerce company. And I wanna see how all my different marketing campaigns are running. So I'm going to ask, how are my campaigns doing? And submit the question. So in real time, what's happening is SimplyInsight is pulling from my various different data sources. And in real time, it is generating both an answer and a visualization on the fly to allow me to understand what is happening with my campaigns. So obviously, our client here needs to come up with some more interesting names for their campaigns, but it's showing me the campaign as well as the sessions. Now, let's say I wanted to understand those campaigns by revenue, not just sessions. So I'm going to ask, how about revenue? And what SimplyInsight is doing is it's keeping the context of the conversation, and it's now on the fly again generating these results based on revenue. What I'm going to do now is hopefully open up, let's try it incognito, and I'll show you some of the insight that happens on the back end. So what's happened within our client accounts, we can also start generating insight. So it starts to bubble up various different things, like maybe my social campaigns are doing better than my email campaigns. So that's an insight that SimplyInsight would be able to bubble up and start pushing the user to generate an action from that. Perhaps my LTV from social campaigns is actually better than my LTV from my email campaigns. So that's another type of insight that SimplyInsight would be able to bring up. Or if my inventory is dropping, that's another insight that we would be able to bubble up for users. And then within our product, you're also getting all your standard dashboard functionality. So maybe this one will load. So here you can get all your standard KPIs where you can also download the data, you can present the data differently, and then again on the back end, we're running consistent different models and correlations to help you identify and bubble up insights for you then to take action on. If you'd like to see it, I can show you a demo separately off of another Wi-Fi if you guys want to go a little bit more in depth. Happy to take any questions.
I'll be loud so you're not broker. How much pre-configuration would be required to actually get SimplyInsight to integrate with like a customized like SQL database or something like that?
Yeah, so in more structured databases like a Google Analytics or whatever, it's almost instantaneous. In something like a SQL or NoSQL database, we spend a little bit of time just understanding kind of the context. So what are you identifying as a conversion inside of your database? What are you identifying as X event? And then we're just drawing kind of strings to that so you can have the same kind of functionality. So we typically see like within a day or two, the mapping process is very straightforward.
Hi there. Are you folks, two questions. Are you a machine learning platform? And second question, can you talk a little bit about pricing?
Sure, yes we are. So we have kind of two different pricing models, one for smaller businesses, which starts at about $99 per account per month. And then we also have an enterprise function where they can repurpose our framework to build that inside of their own enterprise for their own kind of dialect that an enterprise would have. And pricing there is into the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, so if I connect a SQL database, do you copy the data onto your servers and store it, or how does it work?
Yeah, we cache it.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And we are privacy compliant, so if you want to talk more about that, happy to kind of give you more details on our privacy compliance.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Hi. Can it aggregate data from multiple sources automatically? Like not manually uploading it, but just gathered from different sources that you authorize and give insights?
Yeah, we essentially will choose kind of, let's say if it's revenue, where you want to pull that from, because we don't want to show you 7 different revenue if Google Analytics is reporting different than Stripe, for instance. But yes, we oftentimes will meld different data sources to get you the answer, and oftentimes different data sources are required for a lot of our models.
Hi. Normally, in a lot of enterprises, executives already have certain reporting systems, and they're usually reluctant to change. So how do you get buy-in to change into SimplyInsight, or how do you interact with other reporting systems?
Yeah, so the visualization is really just a means to an end. So you're talking about like a Tableau or a Sisense or other kinds of tools. So we can actually live on top of those tools to basically make those tools 10x more efficient inside the organization. Typically what you'll see is like a Tableau is being used by the data team or the IT team, but not by the business team. The business team is still sending the analysts, questions via email. So instead they can send them here. We can bake ourselves on or integrate ourselves on top of a Tableau, for instance.
Who started this company? Who invented all this? Who's the brain behind all this?
Yeah, so this is all my co-founder, Alexei Adamski. He's the ML neural network guy. I just attempt to sell it. Yeah.